All right, welcome to my FX Buddies, the podcast. And I say podcast because there's other mediums to watch or listen to this information. But the best way is to go to the blog. And the blog is at myfxbuddies.blogspot.com. But I know that's a lot to type in, especially if you're on a phone. So, wherever you are enjoying this content, look for a more intro, open info, description, something that says that. Click on that. Another box will open and it will have a link directly to the blog. And you are maybe going to want to go there because there's a photo that I took. I took a picture of something they showed on the news today that is very interesting. That's at the very bottom of the blog. And there's an article that is only on Facebook and it's in pieces. So I had to copy and paste it. And I'm thinking, so today was a holiday in Iraq. So maybe some of the news sites were on holiday and didn't post. So maybe tomorrow they'll uh, they'll have the article, but for today it was only on Facebook. So, yeah. All right. I don't have, well, the only summary that I could give today is, um, the strike is over. The hunger strike people, that's over. But look what happened. Look, the things, the flow or whatever of events. So the people go on strike, hunger strike, and it's 13 days, and some of the ruling family members go visit them and talk to them. Meanwhile, day by day, the demonstration is growing because there's people who support them in their efforts, so they come out to their tent that they had set up and support them. One day at least, they were bombed with tear gas. The demonstrators were not the hunger strike people, but the other demonstrators. Um, then the president of the country files a lawsuit against Sudani and the finance minister, and 2 days later, the strike is over. So what did Sudani say to them, right? Because I think I covered it. Maybe I didn't. But I will. It's going to be covered in this if it wasn't. The court, the Supreme Court, they had received the lawsuit, but they put it on hold until next Tuesday. See you next Tuesday. Got any SpongeBob watchers? That's from SpongeBob, and it has a deeper evil meaning. Anyway, um, so yeah, so then they, yeah, yesterday I think the the hunger strike people, it was day 15, and they announced that their strike was over and urged their supporters, thanked them and urged them to go home. And so I'm guessing the case is probably going to be dropped also. But something happened. Sudani told them something where, that all ended. All right, so that's that. And then Saturday is, do we know what's going on? I don't listen to our news here in America, so I haven't heard or seen anything about all what breaking loose Saturday at noon. So has there been a resolution? I don't know. But so those are the only two things really that I have a summary about. And yeah, so we'll move on. Oh, but first, yesterday was the 12th. And if you did not see this post, America stops the dollar cash to Iraq. Will the dollar rise against the dinar? This was an article that came out. There's a short video here that you can watch on YouTube, and I read the entire article. I go over the entire article with my commentary, and the article's here. You can see it. So this is, yeah, so if you go, so this is the preview of today, February 13th. But if you are on February 13th, you should go over here and look at that. Watch that video, read that. I think that is very significant. But we shall see, right? So today, the dollar rate was pretty much the same in the parallel market. So far, there's no effect, but it's only been a day. So yeah, so that article came out yesterday, February 12th, and that was a special edition. So yeah, you should go there and watch that video if you have not already. Okay, so we'll close that. All right, so this is today's, and here is the headline article that is from today, February 13th, Thursday, the day before Valentine's Day. All right, Iraq's market turns away from old US dollar. And this article, actually, this is the second time they've printed this. It's a little different, and I don't recall what episode number it first came out, but we're going to go through it and you're going to see. So, and I don't believe in coincidences. So what a coincidence that they reran this article the day after announcing, if that is an announcement, that they're being cut off dollars. We are not sending them any more dollars. No physical dollars. So the merchants, the parallel market people that sell the dollars, eventually there's going to be no dollars. So is that going to raise the price up? We don't know. But now today they're rerunning this article talking about supposedly, and notice I'm saying supposedly, the old US dollar. But I didn't put these parentheses here. That's how it is in the article. But you see, I put here, this is about old dollar notes. Or is it? Yeah, so whatever day it was that Oman came to visit Sudani was the day this article came out, because these old dollars, they're not blue. They're not even the big face ones. So that's the addition. And I'm saying dollars, but it's the $100 bill. Although this article does reference the $1 bill and the $5 bill too. All right. So, deeply entrenched since 2003 U.S. invasion, the dollar has become a cornerstone of Iraq's economy, fueling oil exports, trade, and daily transactions, effectively operating as a parallel currency. However, older banknotes, especially pre-2003 issues, face growing rejection from traders and exchange offices. All right, so you can read this, but here in Iraq, the old design 100 US banknote, particularly those printed in 2003 or earlier, is commonly referred to as al-Amani, even though Oman is spelled different. That's who was visiting Sudani. But this Amani comes from Jordan, Amman, Jordan. So it says the term dates back to the 1990s when this denomination was widely circulated. And who was just here visiting Trump? Yes, the king of Jordan. So there again, I don't know. It's weird, right? Due to strong trade ties between Iraq and Jordan at the time, the nickname made its way into Iraq. So then it just says they have the right, per the CBI, the dollar dealers have the right to turn away those dollars, whatever. So you could read this, like I said, you may remember the other day when I read the first one that came out. All right. So this is interesting. Now, these are yesterday's articles. So we're on February 12th articles. Herbal trade discusses banking sector participation, and Kurdistan factories obtain federal loans. So this is about, Herbal, which is Kurdistan, and Baghdad. They have to become as one, right? But look at this. It says a workshop was held to activate the banking sector, in which this is a person, that's their name there, stressed the role of the banking sector in developing the economy. And he also spoke about diversifying sources of income, especially focusing on the sectors of agriculture, tourism, and industry. But the reason why this activate is so important in Iraq, they do things in a 3-step process. They approve, they implement, and they activate. So this is forward movement. All right. Okay, so Sudani went to the Czech Republic, I guess is what you call it, or Prague, and they signed. Yeah, you know what? This is wrong. Jeez, I'm gonna have to fix it. Don't worry. By the time you get there, by the time I uh, post this, it'll be corrected. But there's two. The way you're gonna see it, there's gonna be two articles. There's gonna be one that says Sudani leaves to go to Czech. It is 3 sentences, and then this one will be directly under that. I had the hardest time putting these articles in here. Anyway, it was because that darn picture, but wait till you see the picture. It was so worth it. And then the Facebook article just threw me off. All right. This was, yeah, see, this was today too. This was not yesterday. This was today. So where are yesterday's? Well, whatever. This came out today. Widespread criticism in the circles. The central bank doubles the salary withdrawal commission. Ooh, so this, I know that doesn't, you may not know what that means. There, the original article, which, let me see, MasterCard, maybe? Let's see. No, I'd rather you see the first one first, and then we'll see the complaint. Let's see. Yeah, you see how many articles there are here? I'm not gonna cover all these articles. And they're all good in my opinion. Oh my gosh, this thing's just giving me problems. See, this part right here shouldn't be up there. Anyway, all right. Here, Central Bank raises MasterCard services fees, and then I think later it also says Visa. So the people, the government workers, state workers, they are forced to get their salaries on a debit card in Baghdad and in Kurdistan. And then if they want to pull their salaries off the card, they're now going to charge them 2,000 dinars. No discussion, just like a decree from the CBI. And here it is. Here's the document, I think they're calling it, or circular something. And then also there's other fees for the point of sale machines and the ATMs, I think. Okay, so that came out first. And then, oh, here's another one. Central bank announces raising banking transaction prices for private banks, right? So this one has more detail. See, they pretty much translated instead of just like this one's like a paraphrase, and this one is like an actual translation of this document right here. So you can see it talks about the commission for SWIFT has been set at 10 dinars per dollar. The exchange rate difference, look at that, exchange rate difference, including all fees and costs, plus 3,000 dinars. So this is really hurting people who are using cash. If they don't do, they could do a wire and they wouldn't have to pay those fees, or they could just use electronic payment systems and they wouldn't have to pay those fees. So I'm hoping the people will uprise about it and then they'll cancel it, but that's on them that they have to do that, right? Okay. So, and that is the guy that I was showing you. I apologize. This is really irritating for me, so I'm sure it's irritating for you. So this is, see, social media and banking circles were abuzz with a new circular issued by the CBI raising the prices of, all the things that I just said. So maybe they'll organize and come together. Here he is, an economic expert. And it only seems to be affecting private banks. Which, who banks at the private banks? The rich people. All right. So now this was yesterday. This is a good article, kind of. So he says the central bank, it's their duty to protect the financial system and it's their priority. But he also kind of says to the media, you're not showing them in a good light. And remember, I talked to you a few weeks ago and I told you you should only be printing good things about the government and the CBI. So yeah, so if you want to read that, and so everything he says is good, very positive about what they've been doing to keep things stable, the rate stable, to keep them in compliance with international standards and controls, all of that stuff. So yeah, so that's good. We're going to skip that for lack of time. We're going to skip that. Here, Sudani was, he gave a speech. They were at now this says residential city. But look at all these army people, military people in the crowd. I thought that was interesting. And they did show this on TV. So he says Iraq is facing a new industrial renaissance. And then they also did, well, here is, you know who that guy is, right? Isn't his first name Vladimir? And he rules Russia. So this is an old picture though. But they do want to meet and talk about energy. But they have to decide which senior person in that government could go meet with him. See? And they go back 80 years. Iraq and Russia go back 80 years. Here's the article that should have been above this one. Establishing industrial cities is an advanced step to support the national economy. And let's see. This is so, it's going to be jobs. It's going to be great. And it can't be done already if they're just starting building it. So maybe this is a different one, but that is pretty nice looking, right? That's an industrial city. So either that's what it's going to look like, or that's one that they've built already. Also, they're going to be doing sponge iron, whatever that is, and another mineral or something else in the ground. I can't think of it, but yeah, so they got plans. They got plans and they're ready to move on them. Okay, bank deposits decline. This is a very interesting article. He says Iraqi banks have gone through a golden period in terms of restoring confidence from depositors in banks after achieving partial stability with the monetary policy. But then he goes on to talk about how deposits have declined. So you might want to read that. Next week, they expect to see the budget tables. So we'll see. Here, federal court. Now this is interesting. Federal court rejects appeal of forgery in budget tables, but they haven't even seen the 2025 budget tables. And when you read this article, there is no date. There's no date of the budget schedules. So, I think this is the 2024 one, the one that we haven't seen. So they rejected the appeal filed for forgery in the budget tables due to the lack of personal interest. What does that mean? So this should be a reject of the appeal of them amending the first budget law, which they mention right here. And that's not the announcement. So I thought that was very interesting. And maybe we are going to see the 2024 budget schedules, which would also bring the 4782, the Gazette. Jeez Louise, I can't even think. The Gazette issue 4782 that we have yet to see. All right. So yeah, here's that case that I was talking about. Okay, see how they postponed the case? Because the protesters ended their hunger strike. All right. So here's my one commercial. Buy me a coffee. That's a link. And that's a QR code for those who like that. And then also I do have Cashapp and PayPal, but that's in the description box. All right. So here's another thing. This could be a holdup. We don't know, but it is at least a talking point. It is something that is being negotiated. The T-Man wants the armed factions right here, right, out of Iraq because they are Iranian backed, right? Or at least disarm them. If you're not going to kick them out, Sudani, take their arms away. And you see that? It says the talks have stalled. So, I don't know how serious that is, but it could be. It could be something serious. All right? So we already talked about that. And that. And that. Here. There's so much in the news back and forth between the T-Man and Iran. And Khomeini, he still talks the death to America talk, right? Really bold statements about, well, I don't know. Will there be a war? I don't know. Will we attack Ice Cream Land? Right? And then you have the president here saying, oh, we're ready to meet with the T-Man, but not if there's sanctions on us, right? So at least he's open to talks, but there's no way. And in fact, I think they're discussing putting more sanctions on Iran, right? So here is this campaign. This word right here is a hashtag that they put in social media, and then they show themselves using their cards, buying stuff, traveling. Um, yeah, so they're back in the news talking about spreading the culture of awareness of electronic payments, which I call that brainwashing. All right. Uh, we talked about that already. Uh, this is interesting, but we're running out of time, so I'm not going to cover it. We already talked about that. This is really interesting. Announcement of this is on the CBI website. It was. Sometimes they take things down, but I did copy it, and this link should be live when I post this blog. Announcement of the public tender numbered Who Cares for the supply, installation, and operation of machines for counting and sorting Iraqi and foreign currency, dollars and euros. And these machines would be for the branches of the Central Bank of Iraq in Basra and Mosul. So those are probably new branches, and they need counting and sorting machines. But why, if no one's using the dollar, physical dollar, why would they need machines that count them? So I think they're expecting to get some dollars in. Because I bet you, just as the citizens are hoarding dinar, I bet you they're hoarding dollars. So, but we shall see. And this tender's open until March 16th. But I think that's very interesting. See here, March 16th. All right. Iraq's golden treasure. Will it protect the country from economic fluctuations? So again, now this is Jamal Kruger, and he's talking about gold and the gold prices, and they have enough to cover their gold is considered a safe haven in times of economic crises as it maintains its value or increases with the deterioration of other currencies. So yeah, and they even have a little quote from Muhammad Saleh. All right, look at this picture. This was on their news. That is the T-Man, and these are dollars. This is Sudani, and these are dinars, 25K notes to be exact. But I have no idea what. There's the very Western looking newscaster, right? She's got on a lot of makeup, part of her hair is down, but she's wearing a nice suit. But anyway, yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about, but I just love that picture. I've never seen any other picture like that before. Although, technology is advanced. Of course, it's Photoshop, right? So, but anyway, so maybe tomorrow, I'll get an article of it talking about whatever they're talking about. I'm thinking maybe they're telling them, the T-Man is cutting us off of the dollar. I would like to think that's what they're saying, but again, I don't like reading into things because, that causes confusion. So I'm just putting out that image Yeah, and that was on their news today. All right, so this is the article that I had to copy and paste from Facebook. And it's this guy, Ziad al-Hashemimi, or Hash, yeah, some letters are missing from his name, but they had his picture there, and I recognize this guy because he has really pretty eyes. So that's why I recognize him. But he represents the southern and central parts of Iraq. So I think, does it have to? He's really accusing a lot. Okay, so it really started at the bottom and then the top. So these were the first comments and then these were the last ones. Not that that matters, but I just, in case you read it and it's like, this isn't in any kind of order. It's really not. He may have even been giving a speech and maybe that's why it was broken up like it was. I don't know. But look what he talks about. And this is it. After I talk about this, I'm done. What is worrying about is that the government's need for the dinar and the central bank to ignore the unreasonable inflation in dollar transfers. So he's saying, y'all been buying 300 million every day. If it's not 300 million, it's like $298 million, right? And I know I get quite a few questions. So I know a lot of people are looking at those and asking, what does it mean? I love that. I love that. But you see how many dollars are still being sold, and he's basically calling them out, saying, I think you're still doing the theft and the fraud because we're not supposed to be using dollars. Are they really doing that much business, merchant trading in dollars, right? Okay, so here he says the government is in a state of anticipation and anxiety about Iraq's entry into a financial difficulty while the T-Man's administration implements a strict roadmap to the banking system. Next month may be really decisive through the first meeting of the central bank with the American Federal Reserve. It's missing the word reserve, but I thought they were going to go in April, but I guess it's March. It's March that they're going to meet. He's saying, don't think that just because we had an arrangement with Biden that those won't be withdrawn with this new administration. So very interesting. So like I said, if you want to come to the blog and you don't want to see all those articles, but you really should. But anyway, the image, if is, and copy and paste it. I don't care. Just say this was from my FX buddy. She took this off the TV. Maybe someone can translate that. That would be lovely. And then if you want to read what he says, see, sales of the dollar exceed real requirements and the need of the Iraqi economy by tens, but hundreds of millions of dollars every day. So, yeah, very interesting. It's all just very interesting. And I got reports of people saying, oh, they're talking about the exchange rate on TV. Yeah, well, they do. They talk about the exchange rate all the time, especially right now. So I would hope that it was something new, like an announcement, but Sudani's out of the country. I think the president is out of the country also. He's in the UAE at, oh, if you're not watching that, it's the world, something Elon Musk spoke, via video, but they talked about, okay, I just have to say this. If you've never seen this movie called Idiocracy, it's bad. It is such a bad movie, but There's so many messages. And it's an old movie. It has Luke Wilson in it. And the guy who is either Abu Dhabian or Dubaian, I'm sure I'm not saying it right, he asks Elon Musk about this movie. And this is an American movie. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, has this guy really watched? Are people around the world really watching this movie called Idiocracy? And then they show the opening bit of it. Oh, yeah. If you haven't seen that movie, you should really watch it. It's bad. It's a bad movie, and the message in it is bad. And we're coming right along to some of those images and thoughts and things. Anyway, all right, so I'm done. I'm done. So thank you. Um, I'm not going to ramble on because we're at 36 minutes. So thank you for watching. I will post. I feel maybe there might be some interesting news tomorrow, maybe not. So definitely on Saturday I'll post because I don't like to go more than 2 days. All right. Um, accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. Thank you to I have new subscribers and supporters, and I really appreciate you. So if there's a like, follow, subscribe, join button to wherever you are enjoying this content, take whatever action is necessary to activate that because I don't post regularly. If you do that and things work as they are supposed to, when I update, you'll be notified. Enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame is fits. And thanks again, and until next time.